Okay, so now we're going to go from relations to functions. All right, a function is a relation. All right, and then with this worksheet, you're going to determine whether or not something is a function or not. Okay, in order for a relation to be a function, each, and we talked about it last time, each input, okay, which is often the x value, must be mapped to one output or y value. Okay, just one and only one. All right, one's the key here. All right, if it's mapped to two or more, then it's not a function. All right, so with the first section, we're going to identify whether the relation is a function. All right, and with the first two examples, example A, we have a table. We have your x values and its corresponding y values. So -2 relates to 0. -1 relates to 5. 0 relates to 6. 1 relates to 2. 2 relates to 3. Okay? Now what a function is when all the inputs, okay, and in this case my inputs are -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. If they all have just one answer or one output, which is your y value, okay? Does -2 do you see more than one -2 as an input? No, so usually that means that it's a function. So we're going to write yes, because -2 only has one answer. It's 0. -1 only has one answer. It's 5. 0 only has one answer. It's 6. 1 only has one answer. It's 0. And +2 only has one answer. It's 3. Let's look at B. All right, here's our inputs, our x values. -2 goes to 4. Okay, -1 goes to -1. 0 goes to 3. 1 goes to 2. And then we have -2 goes to 1. All right, now this is not a function. Okay, this is not a function because we have two inputs that are the same, -2 and -2, and -2 has technically two outputs. All right, so this is not a function because -2's output is 4 and 1. Okay, and it's almost better to see in a style like D or E, and we'll get to that in a second. All right, let's look at the table for numbers for C. All right, we have the state as the input and the capital as the output. All right, does every state, every input have a specific capital? Yes, every state has one capital. Okay, so this is a function. D, we have our input and then we have our output. All right, and if you notice, our input only can go to 1 output, and y goes to 24 and 6. So this is not a function because every input should only have one output. All right, because 1 goes to 24 and 1 goes to 6. All right, E is a function. All right, even though we have 3 going to -9 and 9 going to -9, all right, and 4 going to 0, even though 9 and 3 both, the output is the same at -9, it's still a function because each of them only has one output. It doesn't matter if it's the same. Okay? F, we have athletes as the input, and their sport as the output. Alright, so Tiger Woods is the input, golf's the sport, Eli Manning football, Serena Williams tennis, they all have one output. Okay, and there's no two answers. Alright, if we did one with Michael Jordan, who was an athlete, Michael Jordan played two sports at one point. He played basketball and baseball. This would make it not a function if he was in there. Okay, if we added his name, because he has two outputs. One's basketball, one's baseball. Alright, the last two have ordered pairs. Okay, so we have our input, which is 2, 4, -1, 6, and -2. Okay, a good sign that this is a function is that all our inputs are different. Alright, and then our output is 3, 3, 0, 1, and 8. Okay, since our inputs are all different, it's a function. Okay, because 2 goes to 3, 4 goes to 3, even though that's the same, they both have just one solution, even though it's the same. Okay. For H, it's going to be different because we have our inputs here and then our outputs here. And if you notice, we have 3 as the input twice. Okay, and they have two solutions. 3 goes to 4 and 3 goes to 3. So that's not a function. Alright, now we're going to talk about what domain and range is. Alright, the domain of a function is all the x values, or the input. The range of a function is all the y values, or the output. Alright, so for number 2, for each function in exercise 1, identify the domain and range. Okay, so let's go to A. Let's go back to A. The domain is the x values. So -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2 is my domain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these squiggly brackets as my collection of inputs. -2, add -1, add 0, add 1, and add 2. And then the range is all the y values. So 0, 5, 6, 0, and 3. 0, 5, 6, 0, 5, 6. I have 0, which is already here. Okay, I don't have to write it again. And then 3. Okay, and then the right thing to do would probably put these in order from greatest to least. Okay, I'm not going to erase it. You can if you want. 0, 3 comes before 5. There's our range. Alright, you could do B on your own. I'm going to do C. Okay, C, the domain is my input, so all the states. I'm going to abbreviate to fit this. Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. Alright, and then the range is all the capitals. Augusta, Concord, Montpelier. Boston, Providence, and Hartford. Okay. So that's domain and range. D, let's see, D. I'll do D. D is, the input is 1 and 2. Real easy. The output is negative 12, 24, and 6. Negative 12, 6, and 24. Alright, you do E on your own. F. Alright, Tiger Woods, Manning, and Serena Williams are the inputs. Oops. Okay, and then the output is football, golf, and tennis. Alright, and then I'll do G for you. G, the input, is, let's see here. The input is 2, 4, negative 1, 6, and negative 2. 2, 4, 1, negative 1, 2, 4, negative 1, 6, and negative 2. Alright, and then the output is 3, 0, 1, and 8. 3, both of them, 0, 1, and 8. 3, 0, 1, 8. Okay, and we know that 3 is twice, so we don't have to do it twice. We don't have to write it in the range twice. Okay, and technically I didn't put them in order. I should have. All right, I want you to do, so you're responsible for H, B, and E. All right, go on to the next video to finish out this worksheet. Okay, so we can talk about other ways to read whether a relation is a function or not.